Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the October edition of the Jamf Security Lounge. If you haven't heard of the Jamf Security Lounge, it's a series of fireside chats where we dive into all things security. And we've got a great one for you this month, as it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And I've got three fantastic guests. So before I introduce them and get them to introduce themselves, just to remind you of the platform that we're using, there is live captioning, which you can turn on during the session. So if you go to the settings, you can turn on live captioning. If you've got any questions during the session, please direct them to the comment section. We'll do a Q&A at the end as well. But if you miss any of that, you can reach out to us afterwards. We'll leave a link in the chat, so you can reach out to us afterwards. So welcome to the Jamf Security Lounge. I've got three fantastic guests. Jasmine, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us. Really excited to be here. So I'm Jasmine. I'm the co-founder of the Zensory. Prior to this, my background was in health tech, and I worked on longevity research with Parliament and also on AI integration into the NHS. And then in the past 3 years, I've dedicated all of my time and energy in growing the Zensory, and actually combating burnout has been like a key focus. And everything that we're doing is around researching and identifying cutting edge ways to help people get into the best state of mind that they possibly can. And that's basically what we've been doing. So that's myself, my background, and who I am.
And I'm Ivona Skenzi. I'm also the co-founder of the Zensory. And I also, for the last 28 years, have been in the cybersecurity industry running a cybersecurity PR agency called Skenzi PR. So I have been around a very, very long time in this industry, kind of seen it all, been around the block a bit and felt that it was the time to kind of do something positive, give back to the industry that is now suffering from pretty bad crisis when it comes down to burnout, et cetera, et cetera. So feel like we're trying to do something very, very positive with the Zensory. And, as a mother and daughter, we have got together to try and do something together. And with in fact, my other daughter, Jade, as well, she's also got involved. So it's a family pioneered company.
Excellent, I love that. And we're joined by Christine from Nedbank. Christine, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sure, no problem. Hi, so I am Christine, and I don't have a British accent. Yes, I am the Cybersecurity Awareness Manager. I work for Nedbank, one of the big four banks there's a couple of them now in South Africa. And yes, my job is to roll out cybersecurity awareness to the bank using various techniques, various ways. I have been in information security for over 15 years now. So information security and then obviously within the Chief Information Security Office doing awareness. So yeah, I mean, that's basically where I'm at.
Excellent. Well, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for spending your time with us here today. My name's Aaron Webb, and I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Jamf. I'm here to facilitate this fantastic conversation as we dive into cyber mindfulness and reducing risk during a stress epidemic. So I'm going to jump straight into the content, and I really want to kick off the conversation with you, Jasmine. For those people that may not know what the Zensory is, they may not have heard of the app. So could you give us a brief introduction as to what the Zensory is and how it's come about?
Yeah, of course. The Zensory, ultimately what it is a workplace platform that's backed by science, and it offers both educational and accessible tools with the aim of improving performance, focus, and well-being. And as we're going to talk about today with Christine, it's been shown to reduce social engineering attacks as well. And the way that we're doing this is through helping staff be more calm and conscious in their online behavior. And this has been a really exciting application that we've really been delving deeper into in the past year. And the way that we're doing this is through techniques such as immersive soundscapes, breathwork, touchpads on the app, and a lot of immersive experiences, because there's a lot of research that we discovered a few years ago when we're actually delving into this as ways we can look at preventative tools for people so they don't get to that stage of burnout. And again, for neurodivergent individuals, this immersive sensory way of learning and using technology is actually incredibly powerful. And as we know in cyber, we have 20% that are neurodivergent, and it's actually probably a lot more than that. So there's a really great application for those individuals as well. And as well as the platform, we also have courses that have been written with professors and experts and academics from universities such as Newcastle and Northumbria. And we also have workshops we deliver to senior leadership teams. And we also have campaigns that we'll learn about shortly. And we're delighted that the Zensory now has over 80,000 users worldwide, which is amazing and growing. And thanks to the amazing work that Jamf are doing, we're also hoping to get it into schools soon. So that's a bit of an overview of what we're doing at the Zensory.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And when I first heard about this, it was like, wow, we need to chat more. When it was over a pair of socks that we handed out at RSA back in April. But the app's for both end users and security professionals, right? So it's both for the workforce as well as those who are the front line of the tools and those in security defending their organization from threats.
Exactly.
Perfect. And I think this is such a hot topic. We know that the evolving threat landscape is just huge. It's being more and more attacks on various different organizations, whether you work in healthcare, education, we're all facing the same threats. With all different sort of backgrounds and expertise as well as money to combat those. I want to hand over to you, Yvonne, because we first met at RSA back in April. I was fascinated by the company. We stopped and we had a chat. Can you tell us a bit about your background and how the idea of Zensory came about?
So I've been doing cybersecurity PR for literally, as I said, 28 years. So I've seen a lot. And in fact, we were all away as a family in San Francisco. We went to one of these kind of sound sculpturing events, which was a bit weird, but we did it. It was one of those things, what we're going to do. We were there for about a month. And it was fabulous. We listened in a room to all sorts of weird and wonderful sounds. And I kind of thought, my God, this is just fantastic. It was something I've never done in my life. Listening to weird things like Mind the Gap, like at the tube station, aeroplanes. It was a bit strange. But actually, after a while, I thought, my God, this is so cool. And for 6 months, I couldn't get out of my mind. I could not get out the idea that if we could somehow stimulate our senses and actually help us to get into a good place, because it was helping me. It was actually helping me to listen to sounds. I thought, what if we actually were to stimulate each sense? Smell, sound, touch. And Jasmine, and then of course lockdown happened, and we were like very privileged to be able to talk to such phenomenal people that in the normal way would never have talked to us. These are top professors at universities and stuff like that. And all sorts of neuroscientists. We really went home. We went mad, didn't we, Jazz? We just literally wrote to everybody.
And they all had time. It was great because we were getting in touch with these professors, and usually they'd never have time. But because it was lockdown, these amazing people had time. So we were having these chats. One incredible guy called Jamil El Imad from Imperial, we chatted to every single week.
Oh,
and our brains are like going exploding every week because it was amazing. And that's how it started.
And I think I could see with my own staff, people were now no longer in the office. People were feeling very down, very, very kind of like pulled away from society. And people are suddenly, my industry, we're in PR industry, we found that people weren't able to be creative. You can't be creative if you haven't got other people around you. So we were trying to work out how we could actually make this something that would work for people. Jasmine and I wanted to actually have a physical space. We'd walk in and you'd feel somewhere in London or Milan or New York, you'd be able to walk into the space and feel uplifted. In the end, we came up with an app. We tried the app and kind of here we are 3 years later. We have been using, we've now done the app, we built it. It has everything from touch pads, it has sound, binaural beats, breath work. We put in so much into the app to actually help people not just with creativity, but help people focus. And I think the biggest and hardest thing that we've found is that people really find it difficult to focus in open. Behind you can't see, we're an open planned office. It's difficult if you're neurodiverse, there's noise going on, people on the phones, people interrupting you the whole time. You're in the deep focus, in the middle of doing something and someone interrupts you. Takes, you're right there. Takes another 45 minutes to get back into that kind of place you once were in. And it's kind of, how do we stop all this noise that's going on? And of course, not all of us are great at meditating. I'm trying to learn, but I'm not great at it. One day maybe I will be. But what we're doing with the Zensory is actually easing people into this kind of well-being space without making it too woo-woo and a bit weird. We're just saying, look, put in these earphones. It will help you focus for a long. It doesn't. None of the music has any highs, any lows, any breaks, or any lyrics. So the music will help you stay in the moment for much longer. And of course, it's great if you're neurodiverse. You literally can put it, and it calms you down. As I know, Christine often talks about how she started using it with her own staff, and of course, she now uses it always before she does anything, as indeed I do, even just to calm. So the actual app now is helping people either focus or to calm down. And so I suppose that's where I came to. And of course, in cybersecurity, the most obvious thing was our own industry is so strung out, so burnt out. Let's try and find an application for helping people in this particular space. And cybersecurity is where it's landed. And actually, people are really resonating with it in this space.
That's absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan. I've used it. I use it quite often. I know my colleague Kieran does as well. He's constantly sort of got his headphones in. I've seen him when we've been at events or we've been somewhere and he's put his headphones in. He's using it. And I love that this is a family-run business as well. And like all that expertise and the background and knowledge has come together. It's absolutely fantastic. So it's so important now, especially for the cybersecurity industry and the workforce. We're battling with the first line of defense, the people in cybersecurity. It's not about tools, it's about the people. So I really want to bring Christine into the conversation and how you've rolled it out, Christine. So how did you first get involved in this fantastic pilot at Nedbank?
Okay, well, you saw all the energy that just came out of Jazz and Yvonne, and then you can understand why that was very appealing. But it actually all came about last year when I read an article. It was published via LinkedIn. A very good colleague of ours from KnowBe4, Anna Collard. I mean, we all love her to death. But she published an article on mindfulness, and specifically around the cybersecurity, the information security type staff. But I looked at this and it was just coming at the right time because I had to come up with an idea or something fun and exciting for Cyber Awareness Month. And it was pretty much going to be the first time I was going to be able to do anything physical to get more people involved. Obviously the last couple of years, everything's had to be online, but I actually had the opportunity to bring it back and actually get staff to come back in. And I read this article and I absolutely loved it. I phoned her. I said to her, I love it. I need to steal this idea, this Calm Minds Fight Cybercrime. I said, I have to steal it because I love it. And she immediately said to me, you have to meet Yvonne. And just like that, I think it was like a couple of days, Yvonne was sitting in Germany. I think you were sitting in Germany, waiting to catch a plane, and you had your phone up and all the rest, keeping it above you, as you do, because you don't want to see the wrinkles and all the rest, coming below for us women. I'm sorry, I talk for myself here. And anyway, we all got very excited on one phone call very quickly. And this is where obviously the Zensory got introduced to me. I loved it. We ran a mindfulness, like a cyber mindfulness campaign already in October last year, where we pretty much introduced the concept to our staff. And then it was very, very easy for us to then obviously join the pilot through KnowBe4 when it was offered. And obviously, and KnowBe4 came out, KnowBe4 Africa came out with some cute little videos as well, just to introduce the concept of cyber mindfulness. And then the app obviously just complemented it so beautifully. So it was actually very easy to sell. And I think that's pretty much how we came into obviously getting into it, rolling this out and using it as a tool. But this year is when things really, really got kick-started. This is where we joined forces with HR. I actually approached HR. I said, because we've got a huge well-being drive here at Nedbank, and I approached them and I said to them, we have this concept and I really believe in this. And even our HR executive was very excited about it. She says, get get in contact with the wellbeing team and let's see how we can make this work. And the next thing you know, we were through May, we were road showing, you know, and it was a bit strange for staff to see they're on this HR wellbeing roadshow where people are going for health checks and all the rest, and then they see cyber. They see the cyber team. They're like, "What are you doing here? We don't understand." But it was very easy to match the two after we started talking to them about, you know, the concepts. They immediately bought into it. They were like, "Oh my goodness, you're so right," you know. Because we were actually obviously, you know, giving them the information that they needed. So yes, I think I've probably gone a little bit over on what I was supposed to say there, but I get excited when I talk about this. We get excited. I mean, Yvonne excited, yes.
We should have booked it for an hour, shouldn't we? Or 2 hours. We could have done the whole month. I like what you said there about like joining forces, and I think like when I've been at various different events this year, we was at the International Cyber Expo a few weeks ago. We're seeing different types of people, different people in different parts of the organisation come together. And you're right, we had a Cyber Expo corner, Mindfulness corner there. And you was gathering information from IT people. They wanted to stop and chat. You had the cyber team there as well. I think it's really about that coming together. But I think some of that is to do with the amount of a hot topic in the industry is about burnout, especially in cybersecurity. And Yvonne, I'd like to bring you back into the conversation with what you're seeing on industry trends and burnout, which is really sparking a lot of this interest around the cybersecurity space and mindfulness.
Yeah, I mean, our own clients here have done a number of surveys to find out about burnout in the industry, because it's such a big topic, and the amount of CISOs that we talk to, IT security managers we talk to, so many of them, when I talk to them, are genuinely burnt out, generally distressed. You know, one of our mates who was a CISO at the NHS a few years back didn't hack it for more than 3 months. He just said it was just too much. And I have to tell you, you know, we have a lot of friends in this industry, and they are finding it incredibly difficult. Their teams are finding it very difficult. 47% of cybersecurity incident responders have experienced burnout, but they don't have any support, right? 51% of people have experienced depression in our industry, and anxiety due to overwhelm from work. This is the statistic that is most upsetting. 54% say they want to leave because they are so overwhelmed by the amount of responsibilities. And of course, we've got such shortages in our industry, and then we can't get enough people, right? We can't retain them. So if we have to look after the people that we have got, and then we've got to find more people to come into it and actually make this an interesting industry that's going to support them and look after them. We've got to kind of, this is why I do feel so strongly, because this has been so good to me. The cybersecurity industry has been so good to me. I've had such a wonderful, wonderful time in it, but to then see my own people around me really deeply, deeply be troubled by it. You know, these are guys that have to be alert. They have alert fatigue. This is an industry we have to be so on the ball. We're being kind of deluged and bombarded, and you know, Christine's just run from one meeting and she said she's had a really tough day today. I don't know anyone in this industry that's not having it tough, right? And are not overwhelmed. We as an industry have to support each other, and we have to take it seriously. And you know, if it's the elders like myself that have to be responsible for this and push and push and push, we've even started a charter, a wellbeing best practices charter that Jane, my other daughter, has actually started to push for. You know, what can we do as a community to actually put down best practices? We can all learn from each other. We can share experiences. If we don't do this collectively together, this industry is going to have a real problem. So we have to do, this is why I feel so passionately about it. It's why I'm spending my whole time now, whatever money I've earned from my PR agency, I'm pumping into this. And, you know, because I feel I've got to do it. I just get so sad when I sit and go to these events in the evening and I talk to people and they kind of go, can't bear it, I'm strung out. And they really are. Anxiety is a big problem for everybody, by the way. And the Zensory isn't just for people in cybersecurity, because I see my generation of people, by the way, my daughter's generation of people, everyone is suffering from anxiety. And when I talk to Christine in South Africa, she always says, you know, how much, you know, we've all been bombarded with so much troubles and COVID. And of course, you know, South Africa's even harder because of their outages, they don't have power and electricity, and we've now got the crisis and ration. People don't have enough money to pay their rents. If we can't find a way to support each other, then that's a very, very sad day. And therefore, if we can help people just calm down, just to kind of find time, space to think, just to stop. That's what most people never do. They never stop. They don't find the spaces in the day to stop. That's what we're trying to teach people.
Yeah, and everyone's now connected to their devices, right? Your work device is also your personal device, or sometimes your personal device is your work device. So you're constantly connected. Sometimes you're just sitting there and you're scrolling through things, you aimlessly click on things, which obviously can then cause a breach in the organization, and it causes stresses and knock-on effects for everyone. Yeah. Christine, I want to bring it back to you about how did this play out in practice at Nedbank? And what did you see in the results when you took that, what we're trying to combat and what Yvonne's been speaking about, how the Zensory Act came about, and then what did you put into practice and what did you see as an outcome?
Okay, so I mean, and exactly like Yvonne mentioned, I mean, South Africa, I mean, we have all sorts of, issues, unfortunately, but I think, and I think staff in general are just exhausted. And we're a big organization. We have over 26,000 staff members. And I think COVID, unfortunately, and the hybrid model of working, where you sometimes in the office, sometimes at home, or you're working from home. And I think a lot of people they've really, really battled with that. And they still battle with that today because of the hybrid model, where some people are working full-time from the office, or some people are working full-time from home. But being at home also just brings all of those challenges as well. So, and that is why, and like Yvonne said, yes, it's perfect that it's for cybersecurity professionals, but at the end of the day, it's actually for everyone. It's for absolutely everyone. We on our and this is I think where it all started when we went on our roadshows, our wellbeing roadshows in May, and we really spoke to people and we actually found out what their problems are. I mean, I felt a little bit like an agony aunt at some stages, but listening to their struggles, and a lot of them were complaining about they can't concentrate, they're permanently distracted, they're stressed out, they're not sleeping well, they're just not coping well. So, from that perspective, it was a good talking, we'll put it this way, it was very, very easy to talk to them about that, and then to very easily slip in the social engineering part of it, and then go to them and saying to them, looking at these emails, looking at all of these various types of emails, looking at the simulations. I mean, we at that stage as well, we'd had quite a high click rate. And I actually was saying to staff, why did you click? Tell me why you actually clicked in this previous simulation. And exactly that. The results came back in the survey saying, I was distracted. I was multitasking. I wasn't concentrating. I was in a rush. Or even some of them said, the subject line or the content of the email immediately sparked that emotional reaction, and I immediately clicked. They didn't even think about it, they didn't stop to think about it. And this is where we said to them, okay, well now we have something to offer you, and it comes in various means and various ways for mindfulness. But obviously, the Zensory was a fantastic way to say to them, just here we go. Just take 5 minutes. You don't need to sit on this app for, 2 days, or sorry, I say 2 days, I'm exaggerating, for 2 hours. You can sit on this for 10 minutes before a meeting or 5 minutes before a meeting. Just do that. But then at the same time, when you feel something, you feel some sort of emotional trigger is actually happening. When you're opening those emails, immediately stop and just think about it. Just think about it as opposed to just going right in and clicking. So, and I mean, what we did see between our, our simulations from February and then again to July was that we had a drop in a click rate. It was a drastic drop in a click rate. And when we did the we asked them why they weren't clicking, and the feedback is, well, we've actually, we're starting to recognize the red flags. We're starting to, look at these things, and it's very easily associated to just being able to concentrate, and being more mindful. So, so from that perspective, great feedback from staff, and this is what they enjoy. It's personal. Bringing in the personal aspects, not just going to them and talking to them about phishing and social engineering and hacking and all the latest trends. Yes, we obviously have to tell them about those things. But when you're bringing it home for them, they tend to concentrate so much more. So
I love that. I love that you said make it personal, because those phishing attacks are becoming more and more advanced, more and more sophisticated. The way they look like a genuine email from like a reputable company, a reputable email. It's so hard. And I think AI is going to play a massive part in the future of actually starting to make that a little bit easier. But that personal touch is what makes it so unique. And I'd like to bring Jasmine back into the conversation, I think, because we spoke about that working model, that hybrid. I was someone who joined Jamf during the pandemic. I was fully remote. I didn't see anyone for a year and a half, and Jamf were fantastic. But it's different to go from being with people all the time and then go into just being remote in your home. You've got, as you say, those home pressures and everything else that comes about while you're trying to work. But how does those home life boundaries are being blurred more and more? Some people are going back into the office, so it makes it even more of an upheaval again, because you've got home life, you're working, but then you're back in the office. How does Zensory help in other ways to sort of de-stress beyond the specific mindfulness training that you've used?
Yeah, of course. I think a key thing I like to say to people is that the 3 Ps, which is prime, perform, and process. So ultimately, it's like the initial first step is priming the mind before you do anything. So I think what often happens is when we work from home, we get up and we'll go straight to our computer. A lot of us can. And I love kind of using the analogy of athletes and looking at each of ourselves as athletes and getting into that right headspace. And so it's that case of how do you get into the best headspace? And all of us are different. So it's not like one size fits all. So I kind of say to people, encourage them to look at using the Zensory to prime their mind. That may be using music, that may be using binaural beats, which get you very quickly into a state of either deep focus or relaxation. But ideally, again, if you want to focus, that can be a great way to get into your flow state. And then things like breath work, which is one of the quickest ways as well to shift your nervous system into a calmer space. And as we know, a stressed mind isn't a focused mind. So if we can actually try and keep our mind calm, that's when we're going to get our best work done. And then the perform piece, again, Yvonne mentioned this earlier, but using the different 25-minute soundscapes that we have, it keeps you in your flow state, in your state of high performance. And the way that that's been done is using binaural beats. And for those of you that aren't familiar, these are slightly different frequencies using headphones. One may be 100 hertz, the other may be 104. And that difference in the brain can actually replicate a frequency of gamma or delta or alpha, which will shift you into states of either focus, creativity, or relaxation. And there's been amazing studies to show how that gets you blasting through your work quickly. And then the final piece is process. And again, everyone mentioned this before, but a lot of the time we're not actually taking time just to decompress in our workday. And what it means is that when we finish an email or we finish a meeting, we jump straight into the next task. And actually that's when the problem solving, the creative thinking, the strategic brainwaves kind of like, whoa, that was a great idea. That happens. So that's really what the Zensory also encourages, is that way of working. And finally, the other
I think you've gone on mute. I think, is there a button being pressed? We missed your last point. Could you just say your last point again, Jasmine? I think we just lost you for a second.
Is that better?
That's it, you're back. You're back.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay, sorry, the computer just crashed for some reason. Yeah, the last piece I was just saying was to relieve you from a vulnerable state. So when something like that just happens and the computer crashes, that's not a time you want to go and click through your emails, because you're going to be in a more heightened state. That was a great example there. Thanks, computer, for doing that.
No, thanks for doing it. Perfect timing.
Just a reminder that this is live.
We can't hear you anymore.
Things like this happen. Things like this happen when you're live, but that's the beauty of it. You're getting the raw conversation that we're having right now. And then I just want to make sure we leave enough room for questions at the end. So if you've got questions, please put them in the comments. And I want to, Christine, fantastic that you've got this far, but how do you sustain this? Like, what's your strategies and what's on the horizon for the continuing with the well-being and the organization as a whole to make sure that everyone's moving in this direction and it becomes sustainable?
Okay, so I mean, from my side, we are already now working with HR. I mean, we were asked again now in this next round now, which we're actually busy with right now, which is because it's Mental Wellbeing Month or Mental Health Month as well. So the wellbeing team are obviously they're busy doing a whole roadshow, and they said to us, "Do you want to come?" And of course we do. So between all the things that I'm running for Cyber Awareness Month currently for the bank, I am also now joining forces with HR again. So I'm actually already I'm on a roadshow tomorrow and Thursday, and then throughout November we are once again with the wellbeing team. So from that perspective, we will continue to work with HR on that. I incorporate mindfulness now into every single one of my presentations. I talk about it because I talk about it specifically when I'm talking to them about the various social engineering attacks, and that's where I bring in the mindfulness, which just goes beautifully hand in hand because people actually identify with it. So, and then also the surveys after training, them doing some sort of training, and phishing simulations, getting that feedback. I think that's really, that's really how we're going to continue to work to keep this top of mind, and not to lose sort of like the momentum of it going forward.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that it's again about teamwork, teaming up, that constant asking, evolving, having those conversations with everyone. It's fantastic. So thank you. Jasmine, how do people, if they want more information, where do they go to about the Zensory? How do they get in touch with you? If they're interested in the app, what should they do as next steps?
Great question, Aaron. So you can contact us directly or you can contact me at jasmine@thezensory.com, and Yvonne is yvonne@thezensory.com. And then our website, www.thezensory.com. And you can also find us on all social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, just at the Zensory. And those are the best ways to kind of get in touch. And there's also a contact form on our website if you want to get in touch with that.
Perfect. And if any of you are Jamf customers and you haven't seen the listing, we have a Jamf marketplace. It's marketplace.jamf.com. And this is where we have select partners that we work with. We have integrations, and the Zensory app is actually on there. It's a great listing. Go and check it out. Great way to obviously have it rolled out to all your employees. If you've got 80,000 employees and they all need this app, Jamf is a great way to make that happen for them. So go and check it out in the marketplace. It's a fantastic app. I'm a huge fan. You can see the difference it's made at Nedbank, and not only just to the employees, but to the cybersecurity team as well. So thank you so much. Before we jump to Q&A, I want each of you to give your top 3 tips. So I'm going to start with you, Yvonne. What would be your top 3 tips for anyone looking to address cyber mindfulness in their organization?
I think probably just try and make it fun, make it personal, because if it's personal, people will take it seriously. Show them the benefits of how fabulous it can be. And then also keep going back and topping it up and reminding people about this, the app and the desktop and all the things that you can do with it. So I think, and that's what Christine's found. It's like topping it up the whole time, revisiting it in different ways, making it fresh, which is why I say make it fun and personal.
Great. Christine, what would your top 3 tips be for anyone?
Okay, well, I think you've heard me say it a good couple of times already in this chat. But if you have a wellbeing team, if you have, if you have that function in your business, find someone to join forces with. And like I said, I mean, it's not that boring old cybersecurity awareness training where they're going to make us do phishing and this and that. It's really addressing the personal issues. It's talking to people about, real life personal issues that impact their cyber risk. because that's basically what it is. I mean, if you are stressed, you're going to click on something that you shouldn't. So I think that was definitely one of them. Asking for feedback, getting the continuous feedback from people who are using it. And there's some people, like I said, some people don't particularly like an app. Some people need to be constantly reminded that taking a walk in nature, going and doing some yoga, breathing, just doing simple breathing exercises, not particularly watching, an app. Going and doing a digital detox. I think I'd never, ever in my entire life even tried this until I met the ladies from the Zensory, where they said to me, go go walk outside during a lunch break without your cell phone, just without your cell phone, and see how you feel. The first time I didn't know what to do with myself, because I was sitting and I was like, I need to be able to text, I need to be able to see what's happening and all the rest. And slowly but surely, I started doing it more and more. And we've got beautiful buildings here in Joburg in South Africa, and we've got ducks roaming around, and it was a game changer. Just sitting out, taking it in, and actually just taking that moment out, and noticing how you feel so much better when you walk back in and you sit at your desk. Just taking a little bit of that time out, taking that 5 minutes before the meeting, to actually just calm yourself down before you're going into some sort of stressful meeting. So yes, I think those join forces, ask for the feedback, and if they are, if they don't want the app, or if it's not something for them, just keep reminding them that there are various other ways to address mindfulness.
Fantastic.
So, yes.
Thank you. Jasmine, what would your top 3 tips be?
So I would actually, I feel like Christine has been the most incredible person to work with. So I would say, like, getting an ambassador that's passionate, that's engaged. She's been incredible at getting people engaged in Nedbank. So I'd say getting an ambassador within your company to really take this forward is fundamental. If you don't have that person, I don't think it will work anywhere near as successfully as it has. And also what Christine was really great at is the creativity, creatively looking at how you can do this. So number one, find an ambassador, and then be creative. How can you engage with people? Christine was running wellness days, or, had so many cool things that she was doing.
Escape rooms.
All these fun things. And cyber doesn't need to be the same. We don't need to be doing the same boring thing, Let's think out the box here. And that's what this is about. This is a way to stand out from all the other things that people are so overwhelmed with. They get so much information. So let's be more creative with it. Finally, I'd also say my third point is get budget. Make sure you have budget allocated for this. Make sure your company is taking it seriously. If there isn't budget, again, it's going to be difficult to really roll out these things, and give people both the education and the tools that they need to really make it work. So those would be my 3 tips.
I think that's a fantastic way to end. Education and tools, because a lot of people focus on the tools and they don't focus on the education bit. And this is a tool that brings education. I think it's fantastic. It's defense in depth for any organization, and one layer of defense is your people. And I think investing in those people and their well-being is absolutely vital in the world we live in now. Like the security risks, the data that schools hold, the financial information that people hold is so valuable to those threat actors that we need to protect it. And your staff are the first and forefront at any of those attacks with the devices that they hold. So I think that's fantastic information. Thank you so much. We haven't got many questions coming in, but if you do have any questions afterwards, please reach out to us. We'll drop a link in the chat for you. So please do reach out to us, and we can pass those on to the team, or go and check out the Zensory app. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to, obviously, our guests, Christine, Yasmin, and Yvonne from the Zensory and Nedbank. Fantastic to have you. Awesome story. I love this whole coming together of the app, the way in which Nedbank has rolled this out. It's a fantastic, all that theory and research and what's gone into it, that hard work, that family-run business, the passion, and then you're seeing the results, what's happening in the industry and workplace. It's absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining to Cyber Mindfulness and Reducing Risk During a Stress Epidemic. Fantastic topic for this month, where it's Cybersecurity Awareness. So please check out our other Jamf Security Lounge sessions. We'll drop a link in the chat if you haven't seen them. So if you want to watch any of the sessions that we've done previously, or you want to rewatch this one back, the link will be in the chat for you. And don't forget to join us in November for our edition of the Jamf Security Lounge, as we welcome Harold Bosman for us, a senior macOS engineer and Jamf admin and endpoint security engineer. See, this just shows you how many jobs that cybersecurity people are juggling now. It's like you're doing more with less, aren't you? So this is why the stress is so high for people. They're doing multiple things. And he's an engineer in the Amsterdam Internet Exchange, and we'll be discussing securing iOS devices in high-risk areas. So if you want to tune into that one, please do. Mobile attacks are on the rise. Securing your mobile fleet, and lots of people do think about securing their laptops and the work issue devices, but the mobile fleet is something that's got a gateway into your business, and combined with the users that we've got and the stresses that they're under, it only takes a click to breach into your system. So do check that one out. It's going to be great. So many organizations, as I said, are not securing their mobile devices. So join us. It's the 3rd of November at 2 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. If you have any questions for Jasmine, Yvonne, or Christine, myself, the wider Jamf team, reach out to security.lounge@jamf.com. The link will be in the chat. If you also want to be a guest on the future Jamf Security Lounge, please reach out to us as well. We'd love to hear your stories. So thank you so much. Any parting comments from Christine, Jasmine, Yvonne before we leave?
I'd say just stay calm, try and be a good manager or a good boss just by looking after your own well-being first. If you're actually in the right place, then everything will flow from there. So I think it all starts here. Get it right from here, and everything else will be fine from there onwards. Yeah. And thank you, Aaron. You've been a fabulous advocate and a great support. I really appreciate it. And Christine, you are also, we think you're fabulous.
Well, the feeling's mutual.
Thank you so much. And Michael's just put in the chat as well in the comments that it's not just about cybersecurity, it's just all of IT. And it's everyone who's working in this industry, whether you're an IT admin, a CISO, a CTO, whoever you are, I think everyone's got those stresses that they're taking into it. So such a huge topic for everyone. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. And any questions, please do reach out to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.